Welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. A massive thank you and shout out to our sponsors for this video, Who Knows Wins. One of the best things about Who Knows Wins is that unlike traditional accumulators, you do not have to get every single prediction right to win. The more predictions of scores you get right, the better. The higher up the standings you go. If you come in first place, you're taking home a whopping 70% of the pot. Second place gets 20%. And even if you come third, you're still taking home 10% of the pot. The bigger the pot, the more players are. It makes sense. Play for real money. But most importantly, bragging rights between you and your friends. Who knows the most? Who Knows Wins. Remember, of course, you have to be 18 years or older to play Who Knows Wins. And don't forget, gamble responsibly. Use the link in the description now, whack in our unique pin and join this week's league on Who Knows Wins. Join the Kop TV League and we'll see you there. Take care. Yes, good morning, people. A very sore head today, but a lot of very happy Liverpool fans this morning, as of course, last night we beat Arsenal at the Emirates 2-0. We're into the League Cup final against Chelsea, February 27th. Put it in your diary. Make sure that you're around to watch it. But we're forgetting all that today. Today, we're focusing back on the Premier League. And of course, we have Crystal Palace away on Sunday. Who better to have on the show? Every time we play Crystal Palace, I have to recall him. He's had about 4 or 5 caps now for the Kop TV. Man like Joe Walker, thank you for joining me, bro. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good to see you again, as always. Love a little catch up. How are you getting on?
Do you know what? Life's good, man. Like I said, I'm in London for the week. Liverpool got 2 games in the capital, so looking to really make the most out of them and also do some work in between. But yeah, life's good, bro. Life is good. I hope it is for yourself too. Before we get into this match preview, guys, remember, we don't do this for no fun. We do it for likes and money. No, I'm joking. We do it for support, though. So if you can show us some support, that would be great. We just hit 10,000 on Instagram after last night. So big up to you guys for helping us there. And of course, we're about to hit 17,000 on here. So making sure that you're subscribing, man. Come on. We're putting the work in, especially with a sore head. Joe, let's talk about your team, Crystal Palace. A real interesting team this season. The last time we spoke, I actually wasn't at the game at Anfield. I was away, but we still did the preview. It was a 3-0 win in the end, fairly comfortable. How do you see this one going? Because again, we've seen Palace perform really well this season in certain games. Yes, they've dropped off slightly, which I know your funny tweets definitely make clear sometimes. But then Palace go right back up there and perform brilliantly. Conor Gallagher on fire. Paddy V, the big manager, on fire. What are your thoughts before this one? Because Liverpool, again, mixed bag of form themselves.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm a broken clock. I always come on here and go, it's been a while, but I fancy us this weekend, and it hasn't happened at any point. I think the 7-0 was the big... that
was probably where you'd retreat a bit,
yeah.
The predictions,
Yeah. I mean, the Anfield game, I remember we hit the post twice in the opening 10 minutes, and then I think you sort of scored 3 goals from set pieces, which we've got a little bit better at it now, but we're not a big team. So we would start first half of the season, that was our Achilles heel, basically, set pieces. I think Klopp even described that match as the hardest 3-0 win he's had, which I understand the sentiment because, I don't think...
compliment, really.
Yeah, in terms of open play, it wasn't that much going on. But for Palace to be on top, and it's been a problem for the last month or so, maybe longer, we're very much a system team now. It's really impressive that we've transitioned that quickly, but as soon as you have 1 or 2 missing from that best 11, we don't have that rhythm and just sort of speed of build-up that makes it work against anybody. So big players missing. Zaha's at AFCON and Kouyate's at AFCON. They've left big gaps. The one that hasn't really been noticed by outside of the club is James McArthur. James McArthur's been missing since about November, and we have not looked the same at any point. We've had Will Hughes fill that gap, but it's basically, and he's done okay, but Conor Gallagher requires sort of McArthur-type player and then an IU player to really do a lot of selfless work that he can just do exactly
Got
what he
you.
wants and flows. So this Sunday, I know you've got players missing, but so have we. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I'm not nervous. I'm past that point now because I enjoy. It's not the end of the Hodgson
Sure.
days where it was really laboured. We are now like, I look forward to going to watch Palace play at the moment.
Things are looking up. Things are looking up. You're going to be at the game on Sunday, so we're definitely going to speak more about that. Big up to you guys getting involved in the comments. Ali A, big up Alex. This game will be harder than Arsenal, and that's true. It will be harder than Arsenal. I really do think that. Yes, Alex, Wembley is the greatest team in Europe and the world has ever seen. Love that, and Dicko. Big up to you, fella. True Don, reminding Joe though. At Selhurst Park recently, we've won 6 in a row. Now, if you cast your minds back to, big up to Team Kopish in the building as well. Big up to you guys locking in the live chat. But Joe, recently, in the last 6 visits to Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, we've won. Now, before that, there was this kind of what can I call it? It's not a myth because it was real. It did happen. We lost a couple of times at Selhurst. We obviously had the Kristan Ball, so things weren't looking great. But we've turned it around. What do you think is the reason for that? Considering that Selhurst Park is such a tough place to come to.
I think because you sort of took the words out of my mouth. Selhurst Park is not a tough place to go, and it hasn't been for about 5-6 years. So there was this when we came up under Pulis, we were really like we would challenge anybody at home. And then slowly but surely, as we stayed up, that our home record became atrocious. It was our counter-attacking style really worked away from home and ultimately kept us up for a few years. Home record was shocking. And in the end, it's only now, like this season's the first time for about 6-7 years that we could honestly say statistically that we are like Selhurst Park is anything near a fortress again. We lost twice in the first half of the season at home to Gerrard's Villa, one of them, and what was the other one? I can't even remember now. But we are like we're pretty solid at home now. We and I think that's just because of the style of players changed. You know, we're no longer able to. Well, as you'll soon see, I mean, I'm a bit of a pinball here with things about Palace, but let's say Palace took the lead in the second half. Palace cannot close out a lead this season.
Right.
We can go in front against anybody, even when we're not playing well. We have not got the experience, the physicality to defend the lead. Every win this season has been us going and getting a second goal at City, against Tottenham, Everton, all those sort of Wolves at home who are notoriously hard to beat this season. But the only way we did it was by getting another goal. As soon as we sit back, we've drawn 9 this season, and I think 7 of those are conceding one late on. And so even if we get ourselves in front against Liverpool, I still think it's set up for you guys to really just put the pressure on and even with, I know you're depleted by relatively, but it's Jota. You know what I mean? Like I think he could start for everyone else in the league. So I still think as soon as we'll always give you a good game, but you know, I'm not results wise. It's always gone in Liverpool's favour at Selhurst anyway.
Yeah, listen, it's been a fixture that's definitely thrown up some big games down the years. You look at Kristan Ball, that's kind of the famous one that people remember most. And tomorrow will be different.
You got the 4-3 at Anfield a couple of years ago.
4-3, that's true. You've got other. I mean, I remember in 04-05, I think we won 3-2 at Anfield against Palace. Milan Barros scored a hat trick.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, we've been pressed, but like you mentioned, bro, there are going to be players missing. Now, it's arguable that Palace maybe are missing players more than Liverpool. Yes, we've got Keita, Salah, and Mane at AFCON. But for me, Chiarte and Zaha are Palace's 2 best players, for me personally. So is there an argument to say that Palace are maybe missing more than Liverpool are, which is crazy considering we're missing our 2 best players as well?
Yeah, we're trying to work out still. We've just about worked out our best 11. We worked that out by Christmas, but now we're trying to work out how to adjust the team when one or two are missing. There isn't another player like Kouyaté in the midfield in terms of physicality. We've got a lot of very small midfield, very short.
Yeah.
They're busy, but they're short. And you've got a player like Luka Milivojevic, for example, who good, tough tackler and destroyer, but looks way off the pace in this new style of play. Just can't keep up with it at all. The Zaha issue, in theory, we've now got Michael Elise, Eze back to fitness now, and Jordan Ayew's back from AFCON, but I think we're resting him on Sunday. I don't think he's back for that. And so we're kind of using this month as essentially an experimental period to see what life with Zaha would be like. Who's our best forward line without him? Do you play Edouard's? His best games for Palace this season have been wide of a front three in that Zaha role when Zaha's been missing. So maybe he goes on the left and it's Benteke, or do you put Elise on either side? We tried the last couple of games we've had. So Brighton, which we were quite poor at in the week, we had Eze left of a front three, Elise right of a front three, and Edouard in the middle. You can't have Eze and Elise together. There's not the defensive tracking, and there's not the hold-up play that gives Gallagher the freedom to run riot. He scored on that game, but he was otherwise pretty anonymous. So we're still working stuff out big time. And yeah, big misses. You know, Zaha's one of those players, it doesn't always come up in stats and goals and assists of just how much he has done for Palace.
Yeah.
So without him, we're still working out what that looks like.
Yeah. No, listen, a lot of changes expected. Some good comments here that I wanted to read out. Vinod saying that Gallagher will be the main threat for Crystal Palace. Has scored, 7 or 8 goals in the league this season, bro?
Yeah. But my theory,
for him.
Yeah, very effective. Works harder than any player in the team. And that's valuable to any side, particularly when you've got a bit of quality as well. Will do his defending, will tackle on the edge of the D, and then burst up the pitch and be there the late run into the box.
Yeah.
I can understand in that respect the Lampard comparisons just a bit in terms of where he is at the edge of the area and stuff. Feeds off a lot of the scraps of a Benteke when they play. But maybe it's anecdotal, but when Ayew doesn't play, Gallagher doesn't play well. Okay. Ayew gets so much grief because he like 1 goal or assist in like 40 games or something. But because he plays wide of a front three, but he'll hug the touchline and just hold the ball up, and Gallagher goes into that space. Without Ayew to be doing that unselfish play, he's not been the threat that you might think for the last couple months, or for the last month anyway. But then he still gets the goal. He'll still pop up out of nowhere and get the goal.
Yeah, so which is what all good goal-scoring midfielders do. They might not have the best game, but then at the end of the game, you're looking at the score sheet and they've nicked 2, like he did very recently. So no, big fan of Conor Gallagher, and I think Chelsea, maybe at the start of the season, he wasn't in their plans in the future, but now I definitely say he is, and that's all credit to Crystal Palace. I mean, sad that you guys are going to have to let him go, but that's how it goes, especially with Chelsea. Trudon says, better see the cream kit on Sunday. None of this Ronald McDonald yellow business. You say that, bro. But we obviously won in the yellow kit last night. And the cream kit, our most recent performance in it, I do think, was a 3-2 loss against West Ham. But let's not forget, a month before that, we beat United 5-0 at Old Trafford in it. So, listen, I haven't got the yellow kit. I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't a big fan of it. However, the cream kit, see that kit right there? That could well be the best looking Liverpool kit in a long time. I'm not going to put a year on it. Ali A reminded us that 7-0 was sweet. Watch Benteke's turn up against his old club. Hoping not. And Dicko, big Liverpool fans, says Conor Gallagher is quality. Shame on loan from Chelsea. Just backing up what we said there. Zane reminding us of Christian Ball. Thank you very much. And obviously, Gerrard's last game was Palace at home, which we lost again. Pissed off about last night, says Abdullah. Must be an Arsenal fan. Alex, Ty was rattled yesterday. So, yeah, if you haven't seen it, guys, after this video, please go over to the Don Robbie channel and watch myself and Ty go head-to-head in the quiz. I'm not going to ruin it for you. However, let's just put it this way. He was storming off the set, taking his mic off, throwing his dummy out the pram. So, guys, Joe, you have to watch this, bro. It's too funny. It's two tie. It was classic gold tie.
Okay, great.
Gold tie, bro. Rajota is God, says drunk Vigo, probably still drunk now. We're going to Wembley. Can I get a ticket? Hopefully, I can get a ticket. I thought you were asking me to get you a ticket. Sorry, bro. Kanate looks better than Matip at the minute. I'm not sure about that. Also, Matip did come off last night at half time. So hopefully there's no injuries there. I would go as far to say Joel Matip's been our best defender this season.
Wow.
Unbelievably consistent. Joe, let's try and put together some kind of team starting 11 prediction for Palace. Because as Liverpool fans, we obviously don't know as much about Palace as yourself. So
Sure.
if you can kind of rattle through what you think is going to be the starting 11, then I'll give you mine. We'll do our score predictions, and then that'll be it for the video.
Sure. Yeah. In goal, our number one is Vicente Guaita. He's pretty solid for us, but he had the coronavirus recently, so we've had Jack Butland in goal for the last couple of games.
Seen that, yeah.
He made a
bad mistake at Millwall.
Massive mistake at Millwall. Yeah. Isn't very comfortable with the style, the passing around the back, but saved the penalty at Brighton, was basically man of the match. So he's had a bit of redemption there. But I'm not sure if that means he keeps his place or Guaita comes back in. If he's fit, then it's Guaita. The back four at the moment for Palace has picked itself. It's Tyreek Mitchell at left back, who's been probably one of the sort of players that's kicked on for us this season.
Yeah,
haven't missed Van Arnold particularly, which we thought we might. Right back is Joel Ward, longest serving player, not really up to. Has done his best to adapt quite admirably, but we signed Nathan Ferguson a while ago. He's been injured. He's finally fit.
From Rangers, was it?
West Brom.
West Brom, that's it, yeah.
And so long term, I think he's.
Where's Nathaniel Klein, bro?
He has not ousted Joel Ward out of the team. So something tells me he's either not fit properly or what. I remember him from his first spell at Palace, and he was comfortably one of the best fullbacks we'd seen for a little while. Yeah, since he's come back, he's not really ever been a regular starter. So I've
not been.
No, it's a mystery to me. But yeah, it looks like he'll be released at the end of the season as it stands. So it's quite surprising, given obviously, even though he left Liverpool, I know that you remember him quite fondly. He played pretty well for you. It's just Trent comes through.
Oh, mate, you know what? The worst thing that could have happened to...
He had a big injury as well, right?
Bless him. Massive injury, right? So I think this was the start of the year 2017. So I would say 15, 16, 16, 17, really reliable, excellent fullback. Again, would never get less than a 7, really. Maybe a bit of an improved version of a Glenn Johnson, because I think that's who he was replacing essentially at Liverpool. Gets that absolutely catastrophic injury. And I remember Trent comes on in a game against United, January 27, I think. We drew 1-1 away. And that was our first introduction of Trent. And then all of a sudden, fast forward 6 months, there's no way Klein's getting back in that team. So, yeah, the worst thing that could have happened to him was that injury and then Trent. But I guess when Trent comes after you, what can you do, really? He's already won everything pretty much. So we've had your thoughts on Klein. Centre backs, who are you going with?
Our first choice centre back pairing is Mark Gay, who we bought off Chelsea for 20 million, under 21 captain. He's fantastic. He will play.
Really?
I'm not a big betting man these days. I put money on him going to Qatar because he's under 21 captain. He's better than Tyrone Mings. He plays on that left side. He's better than Cody, in my opinion, although Cody's more only there for back three if they need it. And it's only between, in terms of like long term sort of centre backs that are going to come into there, it's him and Tomori that are the candidates, in my opinion.
I would maybe chuck Joe Gomez in there as well.
That's fair because bless him,
doesn't play as much as he should. Again, is that someone that Crystal Palace could look at and say, "Come and play for us, bro"? Because Joe Gomez for me, right? Well, he's started at Charlton, so yeah, he is. He's from that neck of the woods. But bro, like when he started off, unbelievable. Got a massive injury, such a shame. And then kind of formed this incredible partnership with Virgil van Dijk in 18-19. Yeah. I think they went like 18 games without conceding. Unbelievable. And then got that horrible injury in 2019. Let me know who's commenting from Kopish. Is this Matt? Is it Drifty? Is it Callum? I need to know who's behind the keyboard here. But yes, bro, you're right. Horrible injury there.
Yeah.
So yeah, no,
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing Mark Gay as well. So who's going to partner him?
His partner is Joachim Andersen, who we bought off Leon. In the summer, he was at Fulham on loan last season and became their captain as soon as he joined because he was just comfortably better than anyone else in that team at the time. He is not the most physical defender, but his passing from the back is outstanding. Like long balls, he'll do driving runs. He's a very tidy defender. Has a mistake in him because he's willing to take risks, but you're confident in him in a way that someone in the comments, Ali mentioned Sacco, who we released in the summer.
Yeah,
I was a Sacco apologist, but Palace fans were very nervous with him. He would take those risks, but look
and
nervous
us, bro,
taking the risks.
and us. He would look like. Again, you have to respect a player for taking the risks, right? Because you want your team to do well, and you don't really win game without taking risk. However, there were times where he would receive the ball, he'd maybe have two men running at him, and he'd go in between them, and you go, "Oh my god, what's going on?" But then he'd find a pass, he'd slip over and find a pass. Like
he once did a back heel in injury time in his own 6-yard box, and the thing is, this is Palace, so like you don't see that, so. You're just the whole crowd. You just heard a couple of people like pass out. It was, but just someone trying that, whether it works or not, changes how a team plays and sets up immediately. As soon as you have bravery in defense, it's the start of everything and all your attacks. And he had a very big injury problems and was very high paid. We let him go in the end. I think he's at Montpellier now. But the freeing up of all those wages in the summer of people like him and Wickham and Townsend and Van Aanholt has allowed these new signings to come in who are built for the system that we're playing now, way more confident possession. And yeah, they keep you busy. I'm really happy with that back four. Who else? Midfield is the biggest question mark because Kouyate's away. Senegal have progressed, I believe. Will Hughes will start. We bought him in the summer from Watford. Took advantage of a contract dispute over there. And he's very tidy. I quite like him. He's the closest we've got to a James MacArthur player while he's away. He'll be accompanied by Gallagher, I'm sure. And one of Jeffrey Schlupp, who's this kind of utility man for us. Premier League winner, but never really been a starter for us. It'll be him or Luka Milivojevic. It's a bit of a square peg with him at the moment because he just can't do the passing game at all. At all. And he's like a walking yellow card as a result because, a bad touch under pressure and then he follows through and misses the ball. You're the sort of team with the pressing that will pick up on something like that. But at the moment, we can't really have anyone else to play in that position anyway. So that's the real vulnerability at the moment. And then the forward three is likely to be, I'm guessing it's Benteke furthest forward with Edouard and Michael Elise either side of him, which Edouard is a very surprising dribbler. For someone that is bought as an out-and-out striker, he runs at defenders in a way like a winger does in quite an old-school way.
Okay.
And it's quite interesting proposition. But other than that, Benteke, long discussed here, every time I come here hasn't got the legs anymore after that Achilles injury. But if you put the ball on his head, he's going to win it. So do you change your style of play to accommodate that? We never seem to have fully committed to it, which is frustrating. Like he was linked with Burnley after they sold Chris Wood, sorry. I thought he would easily get 10, 15 a season at Burnley because they're set up for him. But we just kind of hope it bounces off him and pick up the scraps.
Yeah. I wonder who Burnley are going to replace Chris Wood with, because they need to do it pretty soonish. They're not having the best of season, and to get 20 mil for Chris Wood, I mean that's mental. To be fair, up at Newcastle now. Here's a great question from Alier: Lovren or Sacco? I've been looking at it in the corner of my eye, trying to think about the answer for some time now.
I'll leave it up to you because from my biased perspective, I love Sacco. Every time I saw Lovren play against Palace, he had a nightmare.
Oh, mate, trust me.
So I
hated.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm gonna have to go with Lovren only because he's won a Premier League with us.
Of course, yeah.
Sacco, there were. Do you know what? There was in that season when we got to the Europa League final, 15-16. He was unbelievable. Again, shaky moments, but I really did think Sacco is our guy now for the long term. Obviously, was late to that pre-season tour, and then it was pretty much all over for him in terms of his career at Liverpool. Klopp never fancied him after that, so he can be a harsh taskmaster as well as a big hugging, lovable manager too. Crystal Palace will play 5-4-1, reckons heirs of the Kop. I would love Liverpool to get Eze, says Ali A. A lot of Crystal Palace fans underrate Edouard because he came from Celtic. He's a proper talent. Don't know how Palace fans can get picky about players, though, to be fair, says Joseph Mackle. Big up to Team Coppish, who are going for Sacco. Carroll has been linked as well. I think he scored 2 of the best disallowed goals I've ever seen in my life recently,
Yeah,
bro, for Reading. Were you on to that? Did you see
yeah.
that?
And they lost that game like 6-0 as well.
They did. Yeah, horrible. But he scored
Worst
like
day
an
ever.
overhead kick and an absolute worldy fucking half volley from miles out. Klein was sick at his best. Allier laughing at me for picking Lovren. Self-proclaimed best defender in the world. No love for Martin Kelly. Says Paulie Walnuts. Not
Bless
the
him.
Paulie Walnuts. I doubt it is the Paulie Walnuts from The Sopranos, but if it is, hey,
Welcome.
how's it going?
Yeah.
Welcome. Right, let's get into a lineup prediction for Liverpool then. Do you know what was wild as well? Last night we played Kelleher in goal, which in itself paid off the decision. I mean, paid off within the first 2 minutes. I don't know if you saw the game, bro, but what a save from that Lacazette free kick. If that goes in, the game's different.
Is he
So
now
Kelleher,
ahead? Is he now ahead of Adrian? Is Adrian
oh,
still
for
in the
goodness
squad?
sake, yes. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
wow, okay.
Bro, Karius is still in the squad. How about that?
Bless him.
Bro, yeah, bless him. It's got to a stage now where I actually worry for his mental health on a serious note.
Because
However,
you surely be like, if he's gone on loan somewhere and impressed, going like,
they sent him back.
we've all moved on. But if no one wants to have him either, that's rough.
Do you know what? If you are watching Laureus, Joe Walker does have a podcast called International Clearance. He's bringing that back soon, so maybe you might end up with Loris Karras on there talking about the
Yes.
final. Maybe if he allows it, I don't know. But anyway, in goal will be Allison. My point was, it was strange, I think, for Klopp to play Allison in the first leg of the semi-final, which was his first ever Carabao Cup performance for Liverpool, but then drop him for the second leg. Strange. However, it paid off, like I said. But Allison does go back into that midfield on Sunday. Of course, he does. The Irish Kevin is levels and calm on the ball. I personally call him the Irish Casillas, but up to you. Right back will be Trent. In the middle, depending on what's happened to Joel Matip, I know Klopp has come out and said he wanted a change last night. So hopefully it wasn't an injury, which we've all feared for so long with Joel Matip, because I mean, touch wood, this season he's been great, but normally his legs are made out of crisps, and he gets injured a lot. So I am going to stick with
Sorry, by the
Matip
way,
at right back.
how did you wind up? Who did he play for, country wise?
Matip.
Yeah.
He retired from Cameroon in
Oh,
2016.
that's handy. I was going to
Very
say, how did
handy.
you wing out that one?
Yeah, apparently he fell out with the manager in 2016, bro. So
No, fair enough.
yeah, I wasn't privy to that argument, if it's an alleged argument, of course. But listen, it's worked out well for us. So I'm going to go with them. I'm going to go with Robbo again. I think Robbo and Trent both getting assists in the last 2 games. Excellent. Really rewriting the rule books when it comes to defenders popping up on the assist chart.
When they play together,
crazy,
you've
bro.
always got a
Crazy.
chance. You've always got a chance.
And when one of them's missing, what's interesting, if Trent's not missing, Robbo will push a lot higher and Nico Williams will sit. Whereas if Robbo's missing, it kind of, all of our play goes the other side. So when we've got them both there, we can play on any side. We can cross early from the halfway line. We can go byline and cross back. It doesn't actually matter to Liverpool. And with that amazing kind of back line, yeah, we can switch it up. So we'll go with them, the top 5, if you like, at the back.
Yeah.
In the midfield, I know there were some shouts here by Bailey to see Tyler Morton. Not in this one for me. You have to go as strong as possible. And for me, at this stage right now, that includes Henderson, Fabinho, and Curtis Jones. Ox as well, injured against Arsenal in the first leg. Thiago still out. Again, I'd love to know where Thiago is. I know he was at the Emirates last night enjoying the performance, but guys, if anyone knows where Thiago is, how long he's going to be injured for, please do let me know. Liverpool like to do this thing, Joe, where they withhold information on players.
Oh, okay, yeah,
They don't tell us who's got COVID, and they don't tell us how long players are out for. Harvey Elliott, there was never a time frame on it. He's back in training now. The Ox is back in training today, though, which is good news. But Thiago's still out. Obviously, Keita's still at AFCON. Milner could even play in this one. I could see Milner in this just because it's Milner, isn't it? But I am going to go with Curtis Jones in the middle to partner Fab and Hendo. And then up front, yes, Cade Gordon started last night. Yes, he missed the chance. Yes, it's brilliant to see a 17-year-old, second youngest ever goal scorer for Liverpool, all that stuff. Minamino has to play. Obviously, the memories of Minamino scoring in that 7-0 at Selhurst Park ring true. Great to see him in form. So I think he starts. And then, of course, you start Bobby Firmino. But then, of course, you start Jota. Guys, let me know in the comments. Would you like to play Firmino out wide? We've seen how effective Jota is when he's running through the middle or cutting in off that left. But I think you have to play him as the number 9, which means that Bobby can drift out. Maybe we know how good he is defensively as well. So I think it could happen. Let's go for a score prediction, bro, just to round this one off. I know you've got lots to do today. What are we thinking the score is going to be? Sunday, is it a 2 o'clock kickoff for Selhurst?
Sunday, 2 o'clock. Yeah, not an often seen KO.
Yeah.
I'd say 2-1 Liverpool is sort of playing it kind of pretty safe and conservatively. I think us on our best can maybe put up a bit more, but we're not at our best. So we're not taking all our chances. We're not as much of a threat going forward, even with these. We haven't quite worked it out yet. So, unless we fucking learn that lesson on Sunday, then I'm not expecting miracles.
Well, listen, I'll take what you've just predicted all day long. I will go for a 2-1 Liverpool win as well. SAS Scouse are going for a Jota hat-trick. He reckons 4-0. Allier 2-0 reckons. So a Liverpool win all round there from our fans. But guys, big thank you to Joe for coming on. It's always a pleasure when you come on, mate. Big Crystal Palace fan.
Always enjoy coming on before rather than after. There's this,
but you still do come on after
once. It was the 7-0.
And that's why we love you, mate.
Oh, I was low. That was low.
We keep getting you back on because no one else would have done that apart from you, bro. So I appreciate it. Big works to come as well from Joe. Filthy Fellas, Apple. You're doing a lot. So Team Kopish are aware of him as well. So big up to Joe. And yes, he's at the game Sunday, so hopefully it's a good one for you in terms of the atmosphere. But I am going for a Liverpool win. That's been your match preview for this game. Remember, this video is, of course, sponsored by Who Knows Wins. I will be putting the link when it's ready in the description to this video so you can get involved with the Pick 10. If you beat my picks this weekend, of course, that prize, it's rolled over like a big snowball. It keeps rolling over. No one's won it. And what is it? If you beat me in the picks, you win the pot prize, which is £3,000, but you also win 2 Liverpool match tickets, and you also get the Apple AirPods and, of course, the £100 playing credit on Who Knows Wins for first, second, and third place, respectively. So play, beat me, deposit, and let's see if you can take home some prizes. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Joe Walker, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Always a pleasure, never a chore. All the best.
That's right, mate. Yeah. Always a pleasure.
Whoa. Just before you go,
don't forget, give us a like, drop us a comment and subscribe to the Kop TV.
The voice of football's most famous stand.